All right, in today's explainer, we're opening up a case file on a culinary culprit, one that might just be responsible for that mysterious stomach bug you got after enjoying a nice rare steak. The suspect? A microscopic parasite called Sarcocystis hominis.
I want you to think about this for a second. Have you ever had a fantastic meal? Maybe some steak tartare or a perfectly rare steak, but then a day or so later, your stomach is just in knots? You probably just shrugged it off, blamed it on a random bug. But what if the cause was something way more specific, hiding in the very meal you loved?
Yeah, the real culprit might be a microscopic parasite, an organism that has perfected the art of hiding in our food. So today, we're going to follow the evidence and track this thing down.
Okay, so every good investigation starts at the scene of the crime, right? Well, in this case, that means taking a hard look at the symptoms.
The signs of this infection, which is called intestinal sarcocystosis, are, well, they're frustratingly familiar. Nausea, stomach pain, diarrhea. But here's the key clue. These symptoms are usually temporary and they tend to just go away on their own. And that is precisely why this parasite so often gets away with it. It's just so easily mistaken for a generic case of stomach flu.
All right, enough with the mystery. It's time to formally introduce and unmask our prime suspect, Sarcocystis hominis.
The name itself is actually a massive clue about what this thing does. Sarco is Greek for flesh, cystis means cyst, and hominis is Latin for, well, of humans. So you put it all together and you get the flesh cyst of humans. It's a pretty on-the-nose name for a parasite that lives in muscle tissue and infects us.
And just so we're all on the same page about what we're dealing with here, this isn't something like a tick or flea living on the outside of a host. Nope. Sarcocystis hominis is an endoparasite, which means its entire operation takes place deep inside the body of its hosts.
So let's pull up the suspect's profile. We're talking about a single-celled protozoan. Now, this is a really crucial point. It's not a worm or anything like that. This is a microscopic, single-celled organism. And, importantly, it's zoonotic. That's just the scientific way of saying it can jump between animals and people.
Okay, now let's get into the parasite's MO, its modus operandi. It's this really clever two-part heist that absolutely requires two different hosts to pull off. This diagram from the CDC might look a little complicated at first, but it's the perfect evidence board for this two-host heist. So let's follow the clues. We humans, we act as what's called the definitive host. That's where the parasite reproduces. And cattle, they're the intermediate host, where the parasite just kind of waits patiently in their muscles for the cycle to start all over again.
Let's walk through this heist step by step. Number 1, it all starts when a person eats undercooked beef that has these little sarcocysts in it. 2, inside our intestines, the parasite grows up and releases its eggs, called oocysts, into our feces. 3, a cow then accidentally eats those oocysts, maybe from contaminated grass or water. And finally, step 4. The parasite forms new cysts in the cow's muscles, and the trap is set for the next person to eat undercooked beef.
So you might be wondering, how common is this really? Well, get this. A study in the Netherlands found that a staggering 82.7% of cattle showed evidence of Sarcocystis species. I mean, that is just an incredibly high number.
And when you think about it, that number starts to make a lot of sense, especially when you look at local food culture. You've got popular dishes that use raw or undercooked beef, like Osseewurst or steak tartare. These create the perfect opportunity for this parasite's life cycle to just keep going, completely uninterrupted.
Okay, so if this thing is so widespread, how in the world do we actually catch it in the act? Well, let's check out the forensic toolkit that the labs are using.
The old school way of diagnosing this was a bit like detective work from a black and white movie, using a microscope to hunt for the parasite's eggs in a stool sample. But today, labs have an incredibly powerful new tool, PCR. You can think of it like a DNA fingerprint test for parasites. It's way more sensitive and can spot the parasite's specific DNA. And for animals, pathologists can even do biopsies to find the cyst right in the muscle tissue. And this is what they're looking for. I mean, look at that. This image shows a sarcocyst, just jam-packed with parasites lodged right inside a muscle fiber. It's a really powerful visual that shows you just how embedded this organism gets inside its host.
All right, so we've identified our culprit, we know how to find it, so how do we close the case? Let's talk about treatment and, maybe even more importantly, prevention. And this is where things get really interesting, because there's a fascinating split in how this is handled. In the Netherlands, for instance, this isn't a disease that has to be reported, so cases are usually just managed by treating the symptoms, like making sure the person stays hydrated. But internationally, for really severe or persistent infections, doctors might actually prescribe specific anti-parasite drugs.
So, what this all boils down to is that prevention is, without a doubt, the best way to go. And the solution is pretty straightforward. Cook your meat to a safe temperature. It's also super important to have good sanitation on farms to protect the cattle, and, of course, strict meat inspections. And here's an interesting tidbit. Just freezing the meat isn't always enough to kill the parasite.
So you might be thinking the case is closed, right? But our understanding of this parasite is constantly evolving. In fact, the story has a very recent twist.
Just in 2024, researchers identified a brand new species, Sarcocystis sigmoideus. And for years, it's pretty likely it was just being mistaken for Sarcocystis hominis because it also creates cysts in cattle muscle.
And this quote right here, this is the real bombshell. It reveals that scientists have now found this new species in human stool samples. What that means is that we humans aren't just a host for Sarcocystis hominis. We can actually host other related Sarcocystis species from cattle, which just makes the whole picture that much more complex.
You know, a discovery like this really makes you step back and ask a much bigger question. If we were missing this for who knows how long, what other secrets might be hiding in our food chain, just waiting for the right technology to uncover them?
Now, all of this cutting-edge research we've been talking about today was compiled using a Gemini deep search. If you're curious and you want to dig into the data yourself, you can find a detailed list of all the sources in the Notebook LM document that we've linked for you in the description.
So, I'm curious, what part of this whole investigation surprised you the most? Was it that crazy 82% prevalence rate? Or maybe the discovery of a whole new species? Drop a comment below and let us know. And of course, make sure you subscribe for more explainers that break down the complex world all around us. Thanks for watching.